What's good, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again from Locked On Wizards. Today, we're going to talk about expectations for the second half of the NBA season. Now, looking at expectations, is a sixth seed a realistic goal for the solid three? Is it time for Bradley Beal to solidify his role as the franchise player? And is it time for Deni to solidify himself as the sixth man? Let's talk about it next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Again, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again from Locked On Wizards. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Tonight's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. That's PrizePicks.com promo code Locked On. So let's get right into it. Three big questions for expectations for the Washington Wizards going into the second half of the NBA season. There's three main expectations I have for this team going forward, and we're gonna go ahead and start it out. The first expectation rather, is the sixth seed a realistic goal for the solid three? And if it is, what factors have to happen for this team to make it to the sixth seed in the Eastern Conference? So let's get right into it, y'all. Definitely appreciate everybody showing up tonight. You're showing me love tonight. E got the night off, so definitely appreciate y'all support me rolling solo tonight. So again, let's get into it. Sixth seed, can they attain that? So let's look at the reasons why they could. Number one, everybody eats. Team basketball, ball movement. This team has proven that when they play fluent team basketball, when ball movement is fluent, when the philosophy of everybody eats is being followed, this team is a good team. You know, you really see a lot of progress with this team in the first half. Now, we had our struggles. If you look at the record, 2 games under 500, we're trying to make it to 500. We're trying to make a push, a final playoff push, or play-in, depending on, the perspective. But number two, transition defense has to be money every game, especially against these top-tier contending teams. With these teams that like to run, we have been unbalanced in transition defense, and we have been caught sleeping. Now, with victories against smaller tier teams, we have gone away with sloppy basketball. But me and E have both said it time and time again that when this team plays transition defense and they play team defense, they can stick with most teams. Number three, controlling the paint, thus preventing offensive rebounds and second chance points. Again, we have been very guilty for allowing other teams to control the paint, extending possessions, getting offensive rebounds, and leading to second chance points. And depending on what defense we play, can lead to a lot of open shooters, and it has killed us. So for us to really challenge for that sixth seed, we have to control the paint, especially when you go up against these teams like the 76ers, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Boston Celtics. Controlling the paint, preventing offensive rebounds, and thus preventing second chance points. 4, 3-point shooting. And I'm going to add 3-point shooting / 3-point defense. 3-point shooting, we have proven that we're not a consistently very good 3-point shooting team, but very often than not, a lot of our victories, what is a key reason why we get these victories? Well, 3-point shooting. So that's why I think 3-point shooting has gotten better. If you look at Kendrick Nunn coming over from the Lakers trade from sending Rui Hachimura, he has done well shooting with 3-point shooting. So 3-point shooting has to be solid for us to really make a push for the sixth seed. And finally, consistency. Lord have mercy. We preach this all year long. Consistency. This team has to be consistent, man. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not consistent on day in and day night, you have to be consistent. And, looking at each, point that I brought up for why this team can make a push for the sixth seed, because I would like to see this team make the sixth seed. I'm not a big proponent of the plan. It's kind of like the NIT. I don't like my team getting into a tournament that was created to help teams get in. No, I want us to get a playoff spot outright. And I think that it's solid 3 for the reasons that for everybody coming in a little later. I'm gonna go over the points again, but for this team to really make a push for a 6 seed, they have to be consistent. And that was my last point. They have to be consistent in the philosophy of everybody eats. Team basketball, fluent ball movement, transition defense has to be consistent. Paint defense, rebounding, 3-point shooting. All these areas are areas where when we win, we do well, but we have to be consistent. So, those are my reasons why we can really look at this as a realistic expectation. Now, you guys tell me, these 3 main points that I have tonight for everybody, definitely comment below. Tell me, how do you feel about it? Do you think that the 6th seed is a realistic goal for this team using these main areas? Or do you think that the plan or maybe the 7th or the 8th seed are more realistic? So definitely let me know, y'all. All right, so number 2 expectation for this team in the second half of the NBA season. Bradley Beal solidifying his role as a franchise guy. Okay. Looking at his contract, hate it or love it. It is what it is. He's going to be here. He's committing to this franchise. Whether you're a fan of him or not, whether you're a fan of his contract or not, the saying goes, it is what it is. Yes, I was a proponent for rebuilding, but ownership and the GM office has made it known that going forward, this core of Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, and Kristaps Porzingis is what we have going forward. So this is the outlook for the franchise, and this is how we're going to kind of look at things. Bradley Beal solidifying his role as franchise guy. I think this is an expectation. If you look at him coming back from the injury, you see a renewed energy in him. You see him picking up the slack, picking up the leadership slack, especially with Kyle Kuzma dealing with injuries. What couple factors that can really help him solidify and cement his role as being the franchise guy? Well, number 1, take charge, show leadership. The biggest complaint from last year and this year early on was not taking things serious, in blowouts, kind of joking around, the body language was bad. But I would say that within the last couple of weeks, man, with Bradley Beal coming back from injury, he has shown leadership. He has really taken his role seriously. So for him to really solidify himself because there's really more than the contract. Now I get it, man. I know a lot of you guys are going to say that with that contract, automatically you should assume to be that guy. But nah, I think there's certain actions with a guy that makes that money. And taking charge and showing leadership solidifies you. That contract doesn't. If you look at the NBA, man, you there's a long list of players who have gotten the bag and who did not command that amount of money. So I'm not going to say just contract alone entitles him to be that guy, even though easy to say, yeah. But nah, taking charge and showing leadership, right? Taking things serious. Number 2, selling into the scoring role and giving the baton to KP and Kyle Kuzma. And what I mean is allowing the offense to roll through Kyle Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis, setting into that scoring role that he had when John Wall was running point. Be that scorer, be patient with your shots, hit the shots, be the scorer. I believe this team is very successful running the offense to Kyle Kuzma and or Kristaps Porzingis. So I think that for him to really be our franchise guy, let the ego go and let the offense roll through Kuz and KP. But I think those 2 reasons, man, alone can help solidify him as a franchise guy. Because I think, as my second point is an expectation, is I think he's going to try to take that leap, really solidify his role as a franchise guy. So we got 2 out of 3 reasons. And again, appreciate everybody, man. We got 22 people in tonight. So, hey, I appreciate y'all, man. So before we roll into a little bit of Deni Avdija in a 6-man role, tonight's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. How does it work? Well, you pick 2 to 6 players, and if they go score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you can watch. This includes the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, PGA Golf, college football, men's and women's college basketball, soccer, the WNBA, esports, NASCAR, tennis, MMA, boxing, disc golf, good God, Euro basketball, cricket, and more. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy, safe, and fast withdrawals. Currently operational over 30 states and our neighbor to the north, Canada. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code locked on. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code locked on to sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. So, reason number 3 tonight, and the reason, or really the expectation, the third expectation going into the second half, and hey, shout out to Omer Azalea, man. I appreciate you with the beard, man. Appreciate you, homie. So the third expectation going into the second half, man. Deni Avdija solidifying his role as being the sixth man of this team. Now, looking at Deni Avdija before the Rui trade, the confidence wasn't always 100%. Three-point shot there's a lot of expectations with his three-point shot. Definitely working with, after working with Drew Hanlon on his shot, his three-point shot has not arrived yet. He is starting to drive the lane with a little bit of confidence, but just still a little bit of hesitancy, passing the ball off. But since sending Rui Hachimura to LA and picking up Kendrick Nunn and giving him more responsibility on the bench unit, you've seen a totally different player, man. You see a guy not only is he driving the lane with confidence, he's driving the lane with power. His vision has never been an issue. His defense has never been an issue. And you do see him pulling the trigger on the three-point shot a lot faster and more frequently, which denotes, he's got confidence, man. So when he's got confidence, man, he has shown that he can score at a high level and defend at a high level on the bench unit. And he has started. So he can plug and play. We can plug and play him in the starting lineup as needed. And we're going to talk a little bit about West in a little bit, but what can he do to solidify himself as the sixth man of this team? I see 3 main ways. 2 of them come from West. Now, we're going to get on West a little bit. 1, giving him more rope to develop, meaning let him shoot the ball more a little bit, let him kind of get a feel, let him be that attacker. Give him a little more rope on the bench unit. Okay, because like I said, are we hurting a little bit with scoring on the bench? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Kind of give Deni a little more rope and see where he can go. 2, give him a little more ball handling opportunities, especially in the second unit. Give him more ball handling opportunities. Let the offense roll through him a little bit on the second unit. 3, he needs to keep his emotions in check. He's a young player. He can be emotional. Young players are very emotional, but sometimes he tends to be a little emotional. He argues calls and doesn't get back in transition defense. And that's just youth, man. I think that it's not a character thing. He's not a bad character guy. He's a good character guy. He seems like a really, really good guy, man. He looks like he wants to learn. So it's not a character thing. It's just young players are very emotional. And for him to develop, I want to see him really curb the emotions a little bit. Argue calls later, man. Argue calls, the timeouts, get back down on the floor. But, that will be my only negative, man. I want to see more responsibility for him in the second unit because really we have no choice. Rui's gone. Kendrick Nunn's not the guy who's going to be able to shoulder a lot of the scoring load. DeLon, his defense and leadership, he's not the guy who's going to, go out there and score 15, 20 points. I think there's a little too much for DeLon, man. So Deni has, really to reinforce the first expectation of going for that 6th seed. You want to see Deni really take that step forward and solidify himself as a 6th man in the team. And I think if he can deliver being a 6th man and being consistent with scoring and defensive effort and vision on the second unit, I think we're in good shape to really drive for a playoff spot. So those are my 3 reasons, y'all. Those are my 3 expectations, rather, for the Washington Wizards in going into the second half of the season. Now, we're going to reiterate real quick, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about Will Barton and a few other moves in the NBA. But the 3 expectations, real quick to summarize for everybody, is 1, the solid 3, rather the team driving for a 6th seed. 2, Bradley Beal solidifying himself as the franchise player. And 3, Deni Avdija solidifying himself as the 6th man of this team. So we're going to talk a little bit about Will Barton being bought out and he's cleared some space for a familiar face. So before we move on to talk about Will Barton and Jordan Goodwin, tonight's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Looking for a delicious treat, but don't want all of the fat and calories? Then you got to try Built Bar. We just got through the holidays. I know my goal is to eat a little healthier this year. If you're like me, where you want to eat healthier, but you don't want to compromise taste, then man, I got the thing for you. Lord, you got to try Built. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, it's so delicious you won't think they're good for you. They're perfect for your New Year's resolution. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. I'm not sure how Bill does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they're healthy for you. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. Now, if you're a weightlifter, man, 17 grams of protein come in handy before or after your workout. And now you don't need to wait around to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering your Built Bars at Built.com. Now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. And if you're close to Sam's Club, run in and grab a 13-bar box with our hit flavors, brownie batter, and churro. You can thank me later. Built Bar. So real quick, y'all, this is going to be a short episode because I wanted to go over the expectations for the second half of the NBA season because it's coming up. Friday night is our first game going against the New York Knickerbockers. So it's definitely coming up fast. Or rather, Thursday night, I think, is the official first day of games for the NBA coming after the All-Star break. So we're going to go over to Will Barton real quick. And with this being the 25th anniversary of the Washington Wizards rebrand from the Washington Bullets to the Washington Wizards, I'm going to go over my quick all-time Wizards starting five, and you guys can go ahead and tell me what you think, what you would change, what you would keep the same. But real quick, Will Barton was officially bought out, which led to an official NBA contract from Jordan Goodwin. So I want to go ahead and clap for Jordan Goodwin, man. I'm going to go ahead and shout out Jordan Goodwin. He earned that, man. He earned that contract. He earned it. With his defensive prowess, with his effort, with that dog, with diving for loose balls, for just, it really is a testament to the Capital City Go-Go. Now, I get it. Not every player is a finished product. You want to see more from Vernon Carey. You want to see more from Isaiah Todd, which I don't think Isaiah Todd is really going to be around much longer. But if you look at players like Jordan Goodwin, Chris Dunn, which, by the way, this is point number 2. Chris Dunn was just signed to a 10-day contract by the Utah Jazz. So Chris Dunn, another testament, a veteran, came in, got his time right with the Capital City Go-Go, and was signed to a 10-day contract. So definitely congratulations to Chris Dunn for a contract, and congratulations to Jordan Goodwin. So the question for y'all, do you think Jordan Goodwin deserved this contract? And 2, do you wish we would have kept Chris Dunn? Those are 2 questions I have for everybody in the comments section. So we're going to slide right into real quick. We're going to do some comments at the end real quick. But again, with this being the 25th anniversary of the Washington Bullets becoming the Washington Wizards, if you could take 5 Washington, no Bullets now, if you could take 5 Washington Wizards, and that does include Juwan Howard and Chris Webber, but I am an 80s baby, and I'm a little young for that, man. So my team really covers the Arenas and Wall eras. But my starting 5, and again, y'all go ahead and tell me what y'all got. But what would be my all-time starting 5 for the Washington Wizards, man? Man, oh, man. We'll start with point guard. A lot of good point guards, but point guard, what do you expect out of a point guard? Now, you can look at, y'all know everybody's thinking about 2 names right now, Gilbert Arenas and John Wall. Now, Gilbert Arenas was box office, man. He could score anytime he went, anywhere on the court, man. Top, for 2-3 years, he was one, if not the top, one of the top scorers in this league. Beating Lakers, game winners over Kobe. I mean, he played well, but John Wall would be my franchise point guard going forward. Why? Because John Wall made everybody better around him. How many guys got contracts because of John Wall? John Wall, his vision, his passing, not the best 3-point shooter. But he did get the game winner to send the, that had us a game away from the Eastern Conference Finals, but, not a 3-point shooter, but his vision, his speed, coming out of Kentucky, he was box office with his speed, man. So I'm choosing John Wall to be my franchise point guard if I could take 5 guys for the Washington Wizards. 2, I'm going to slide Agent Zero right into the 2 guard. Again, that man, Hibachi, a.k.a. Agent Zero, could score anytime he wanted, man. I mean, he was solid. And just like, John Wall, injuries came to bite him, man. And he with his knee injury, man, it really makes you think what could Ben have. And I get it, man. With the gun incident, that had a lot to do with him not being here anymore. But, at his height in DC, Gilbert Arenas was box office as a scorer. So I'm going to slide him into the 2 guard. Now, I know what y'all thinking with my small forward and my power forward. It's just pretty much the arena's team. I'm sliding Karan into 3. And there's a lot of good choices, man. Especially with 2 guard, you can throw Bradley Beal in there. MJ, obviously, MJ coming here for those 2 years. But, I'm rolling with Gilbert Arenas. But at the small forward, I'm rolling with Karan Butler. Now, you say Paul Pierce, he wasn't here long enough. He did have a good impact being that veteran voice in the locker room and that in a shot, in almost 2 shots in the playoffs against Toronto, man. But I'm rolling with Karan Butler. Defense, 3-point, he was 3-and-D guy. Power forward, I'm rolling with Antoine Jameson. I was real close to doing Markieff Morris. I like Morris. I like his drive. I like his attitude. But the versatility of Antoine Jameson, I think, really, really solidifies him at the 4 position. And let's round it out at the 5, man. Center. Brennan Hayward was the name. Martian Gatot. But he's only been here for maybe a combined year. I'm rolling with Kristaps Porzingis. I believe that Kristaps Porzingis is the best center we've had in DC as far as the Wizards. Now, I know going back to the Bullets days and the championship days, you got to look at what Sunset. But as far as the Wizards, I think that KP is the best center that we've had in DC for the Wizards, bar none. Stretch the floor. He can put the ball on the floor. He can play. He's a complete package at his height, man. And so I really think that if he stays here long term, he can solidify himself as probably the best center to put on a Wizards uniform. So that is my starting 5 for the all-time Wizards, with this being the 25th anniversary of the rebrand. So real quick, point guard, John Wall, 2 guard, Gilbert Arenas, small forward, Karan Butler, power forward, Antoine Jameson, and then in the 5, KP. So if you agree, disagree, let me know. So we're going to go into comments real quick. Let's get right into it. XC Zaythion. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I butchered that up. Let's go, baby. Undefeated rest of the year. Well, you know what, sir? That would be nice, but I don't see it happening, man. But, I definitely, it would be nice. But if you look at the schedule, man, it's a very, very winnable schedule. I think that we can really make up ground. I think that definitely over 500 has to be a goal, man. But that's why I said with this solid 3, the 6th seed to me has to be. I think it can be a goal and an expectation, but I think that if you're really serious about legitimizing the solid 3 and making them a big 3 and really making this a core going forward, you have to go for the 6th seed. And by all means, go higher. But, right now, I don't think that we have the pieces to go higher, but I think that the 6th seed has to be the goal. Again, my man, Omer Ozale, beer looking clean today. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate you, man. Van Gogh, within the last month, Bill has learned how to play team basketball. Yeah, I think that's the difference. He has settled into that role of being the scorer. He should not be bringing the ball up. Now, there's times where I get it. He's going to be a ball handler, but, turnovers become an issue, questionable moves. I think he's best served as being that scorer. You know what I'm saying? Like, not really having to be the shoulder to load. I think the offense going through Kyle Kuzma or going through KP is best served for this first unit. So, let's see. Oh, yep. Thanks for reminding me. Like I said before, don't forget Barton is gone too. Barton is gone. He is bought out, which led to a contract for Jordan Goodwin. So again, congratulations, Jordan Goodwin and Chris Dunn for getting his contract. All right, let's see. Wall for Barton. Man, look, I gotta get this out the way, y'all. Let me start by saying that John Wall is my favorite player all time. Easy. For a Wizard. I'm an old school guy, MJ, but that's a whole nother conversation. Okay. We all know how he left, whether you agree with how he left, why he left. It's irregardless at this point. It is what it is at this point. Him coming back, I don't see it, man. And it's not to say that I don't want it or I'm saying that he wouldn't fit, or it's a lot of perspectives. There's a crowd that says that he could fit. There's a crowd that says he couldn't fit or mess up chemistry. Tomato, it is what it is. He's not coming back, because if you look at just the way he left, and I mean, all right, the biggest example is this: Gilbert Arenas. The gun issues. It took a while for him to come back. He left around 2010, and it's 2023. So it's going to take a while. Now, going forward, eventually, I would like to see John Wall maybe coaching staff, maybe in the front office, but he needs to be with this franchise in some capacity, because he has done a lot for his community, man. He is just what he's done off the court for this community, for children going to school, for with the epidemic. A lot of people hurting in the community. He picked up this slack, man. So he is owed a lot for that. But it's just not, the time is not right now. So, and I just don't. I think there's a 0% chance. I'm not gonna say zero, but just based of how the body language of the front office is when it comes to John Wall. Because look, the Clippers game when he came back, they barely even talked about him. Saying that just tells you a lot. Is it right? No, but it's just too soon, man. It's too soon right now. Doc U, what's going on? Goodwin deserves it. By the way, DeLon should start. I think so. But that's the thing. Me and E said it the last episode, man, is that I think that Wes Unseld holds on to this tall lineup. I think the tall lineup when, Monte, Bill, Kuz, KP, and Gap, it works. But don't just stick with it. I think you need a game plan. I need to mix and match here and there. I think there's times when DeLon Wright should definitely be starting. Him being on that final lineup in the fourth quarter is a must. I think there's times when you should start because defensively he is an upgrade over Monte Morris. Now Monte Morris is really set into the role of being that orchestrator, the distributor. He's really set into that role. But there's times where certain matchups definitely, and Goodwin again definitely deserves it. Definitely deserves it. All right, back to my man Azalea. Porzingis at the 5. Yes, sir. Best center we've had in DC, and in such a small sample piece. So was that? But again, what does that say about us? Gortat, did he have to be spoon fed? Yeah, but he was a solid center in DC. But it's just the NBA is different. Your 5 has to be able to shoot, and Kristaps Porzingis, he fits that mold of the modern big. So let's see. Lirley, 1979, no Bill. Man, that was a close one. I admit, I know I'm gonna get a little bit of some hate. No Bill to 2. Because Bill is a solid player, man. He's a really good player, but he doesn't have the impact on the court like Gilbert Arenas did. Gilbert Arenas was just, he could score at will. It took a while to really for Bradley Beal to really work on his game. When you look at him when he first came out of Florida, he was a catch and shoot guy. He really worked on his game. But I think that if you compare the two, it was close, man. It really was. But I'm gonna take Gilbert Arenas and plug him at the 2. But it's close, man. Definitely make Bradley Beal a 6-man if we're gonna expand it. But but not. Definitely appreciate comment. So that is it, man. Last one, back with my man. Oh, Azalea says 6-man though. There you go. Bradley Beal 6-man. But last comment tonight, who is better right now, Wall or Monte? Man, that's tough, man, because John Wall has taken a step back. Now, I believe he can still contribute to a contending team. I believe he can still contribute on the team. It's just he has lost a step. With point guards, especially point guards where the game is very reliant on speed, when the speed starts to take a hit, it really hits him as a player because number one, John Wall's never been a 3-point shooter. His mid-range, it's been solid here and there, but he's not, his game is orchestrated by speed. And with his speed taking a hit, man, he's just not the same player. So that's tough, man, because Monte is not really known to be that guy to drive the lane. That's where John Wall hasn't beat. And Monte's a better shooter. But orchestrator is not even the question. John Wall. But so, I would say that John Wall has an edge slightly just because of his ability to penetrate the lane and collapse defenses. But it's close, man. So, again, I appreciate everybody, man. My man E tonight, he's taking the night off, much deserved night off. Rolling solo, I definitely appreciate everybody who showed up and definitely chopped it up with me tonight. Again, and we went over expectations for this team going forward into the second half of the season. I think the second half the schedule is really, really favorable to this team. So let's see. But it takes what? Consistency. So again, I appreciate everybody showing up tonight. Definitely. Oh, we got a couple more. Let me get one more. Endless Vaults. Deni is flourishing right now, and if we sign Wall, he'll be taking the shots. Yeah, I don't know, man. Would he start? That's the question. Would Wall coming in? Where would you put him? That's the question. Where would you put him? And that's a tough question because it's your starter. Would you start him over Monte? And it's just we're a little guard heavy right now. Just it's tough, man, because he's not coming back, man. I give it a 5% chance just because this franchise is trying to and I'm not happy about it, but kind of distance themselves a little bit right now. And as hate it or love it, that's an argument for another day. I'm a Wall fan. I wish he could, but I don't see it happening. So again, appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody. And before we roll, man, y'all hit me with some good comments, man. My man Endless Volts said we could take the hot spot because he just fired the head coach. Yes, thank you. An hour ago. The head coach of the Atlanta Hawks is gone. It's been a lot of Nate McMillan gone. There's been a lot of friction between him and Trey Young. Trey Young starting to develop a reputation for sending coaches out of the ATL. So we'll see. There's a lot of turmoil going in the ATL. Does DeJounte Murray really fit, at the 2 guard long term? I think that, definitely, we can definitely look to, go past them in the standings because they're 8th and I believe we're 9th right now. So definitely, man, definitely. Robbie Bean, man, y'all keeping me on here, man. Robbie Bean, what's going on? How you doing tonight? John Wall is DC 100%. I totally agree. I totally agree. He is much loved here, man, but it's just, management has made it known how they're going forward. And I don't see it happening, man. It's going to take a while. Not happy about it, but it is what it is. It's going to take a while. And definitely going to end it on this. Peace and love, Brandon. Thanks. Peace and love to everybody. God bless everybody. Definitely appreciate everybody showing up tonight, chopping it up with me, talking about some basketball. So thanks for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. Now make your second listen, Game to Game NBA. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA, available on Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. So on YouTube, we are very, very close to 3,000 subscribers. So definitely like, subscribe, comment below, hit that notification button so when you know that we have new content hitting y'all, man. Instagram and Twitter, me and my dude, the real Ed Oliver, we chop it up on Commanders, Wizards, me. I'm an Orioles and Nats fan, so baseball season coming up, I definitely chop it up. So definitely hit us up, man. I do a lot of stadium tours during the year, so minor league baseball, major league baseball, so definitely look at Instagram for me and my dude, the real Ed Oliver. And wherever you get your podcast, man, definitely a 5-star review would definitely be much appreciated. So again, everybody, thank you for showing me love solo tonight. Again, my man E, he has night off tonight, much deserved night off. All-star break, so we all getting a break. But looking forward, we're going to do another mailbag this week, me and E, and we're going to do a preview for Friday night's game against the New York Knickerbockers. So again, appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a blessed night and peace.